everyone, so I'm back again with another video. This time around, I'm finally doing a room tour video. It's been requested a couple times in the past, and I just haven't found the time to really get to it. I've tried once in the past to actually make a room tour video, but it just ended up being over half an hour long and was extremely boring, and I think I went too in-depth with some things, so it really did come out kind of dull. But I thought, you know what, I'll try to attack it from a different angle and show you guys the rest of my room that you don't usually see in my videos. Now, you do get, well, a pretty wide shot of what there is in my room, but there is a lot more that you can't see. So we'll get to it right now. So I wasn't too certain where to start with, so I thought I might as well start where I usually am, sitting in my seat, facing my computer, and making my videos. I do have this sort of desk lamp that hangs over me, and I have just a piece of paper covering it up to sort of dim the light, but it is kind of bright still sometimes. And I have a couple of just random knickknacks around here. Sorry about the lighting situation, but I'm trying to make the best of it. I have an old camera there that I did have set up at one point, but just completely stopped using that, and I pretty much just have stuff dangling from it at this point. And directly above me, where I have my computer set up, I have this Recore poster that I got from the Xbox game showcase that was going on in this summer. Just directly next to that is another set of drawers over here. I should probably mention that first off, in this set of drawers is where I have a lot of my handhelds. You can see them all in there. Game Boys, a lot of Game Boy games, DS's, and a couple of other handhelds and other electronic toys in there as well, including some Digivices and Pocket Pikachus and Tamagotchis. And as my drawer jams, you can see just below I have a whole bunch of TV shows on DVD, and the rest of the stuff is just closed down there. Over here is where I keep my printer, and on top of the printer I usually have recent pickups, just stuff sitting there that I've yet to make a video for. Not too much this time around, so it's just a couple of items there. And I have this old iMac G3. This computer here, the only reason why I really keep it is because I had used this, not this exact computer, but one just like this when I was younger in middle school, and I just had a sort of affinity for it, so I thought I'd grab this when I saw it, and I sort of just keep it around. And in here is where I keep my 3DS and Vita games. And just below that is where I keep my import games and some other handheld games, just Game Gear, Gamecom, fake Chinese Game King stuff. And beneath that I have a bunch of other accessories. Over in this first shelf over here, you can see on top I have a couple of DVDs there for Farscape, 6 Feet Under, and for the entire Digimon series right there. Well, I shouldn't say entire Digimon series, it's just the first 4 series, but those are the only ones I really care for. On the top shelf there you can see all my amiibos, and there are plenty of them sort of crammed in there, including some on top. Next shelf covers all my Gundam figures, some that I've made and some that I've found in thrift stores already put together, but just keep them all right there. And then beneath that is more DVDs, more TV shows, just a bunch more. And at the bottom you see my Laserdisc and record collection. Not a lot, but some decent titles in there. And that little mini record player that's not the best thing to play your records on, but at least it does the job for the time being. Over here I have this custom shelf that I built myself, with the help of my dad of course, but I designed it, not that it really needed all that much designing, and I just have it beneath my window over here. In here I have, sorry about that, I have about 400 DVDs stored in this shelf, just a little bit under 400. Because of course some of them are a little bit wider. You can see all my anime DVDs down at the bottom, and then my few Blu-rays are over there, and then the rest of the shelves are all DVDs. And what I have set up here are ones that are further stuck out, or movies that I either haven't seen at all or haven't finished in some capacity. So I have them pulled out, sort of ready to go for when I eventually get around to watching them. And then I just have a couple items on top of here. And my World of Nintendo figures, the little mini ones, are hanging on the side of this shelf over here. Don't have many of them, but I do still have a couple of interesting ones. Over here is where I have some of my more recent comic books and a lot of my Marvel and Dark Horse and Image comic books as well. I have a lot of other DC back issues stored away in comic book boxes, and those I'll show you them in a couple of minutes. But over here on this shelf is where I have a lot of my more recent games, pretty much current gen, last gen, and 6th gen as well. On the very top I have a bunch of Nintendo and other random gaming handhelds. I have my Zelda Majora's Mask 3DS XL box up there. I have my Pokemon X and Y 3DS XL there. My Neo Geo Pocket Color. I have a Pokemon Mini back there, and a couple of Digimon related items as well. Some amiibos in the back with my PS Vita box behind it, and a whole bunch of Digimon figures as well. Just below that is where I have my Wii games, followed by PS3, PS4, and Wii U. All these shelves are double stacked, so you can see back there, there's a lot more games to go through, so it's kind of difficult to show you all of them, but I have done collection videos for each and every console as well, so there's been plenty of opportunities to see all of them. Just below that I have my 360 games, and behind that I just have a couple more PS2 games, just because my PS2 shelf is completely packed full. That there is just Ni no Kuni on the DS, the collector's edition of it that came out in Japan only. And below my PS2 games is where I have my original Xbox games and then my GameCube games. I don't like that my GameCube games are pretty much down on the bottom shelf behind my garbage can, but I don't really have much other room for them, so that's pretty much where they've been relegated to stay. Now this here is my TV setup. Not the best setup possible, and I don't have that big of a TV, but it's the best I can do for the time being. The TV stand, I actually took that from my sister's room. She left it behind when she moved out. The one that I had was just a complete mess and it was about to fall apart, so I just went ahead and took hers. From the top, first thing we have is the PS3. Then we have the, I always forget what this is called, the Steam Link with the controller. I've only used it a handful of times, but it's not that good. Then I have my Vader PS4. You can see up there I have a Doctor Who poster of the painting that Van Gogh made of the TARDIS exploding. I've had that for a couple years up there, but I think I might get rid of it sometime soon. You can see it in most of my videos. Next to the PS4 I have my 360E with the Kinect on top of it, my Wii U with the gamepad on top, my Sega Saturn with the Game Shark already in it, and then beneath that I have my 3DO, my CDI, my Jungle Green N64, my PS2 that I've had ever since I first got it way back in, I think it was 2001, so I've had that for a very long time, and then my Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness GameCube. You can't really see the top of it from over here, but that's it right there, with my Retro Duo next to it. And then here in front of the TV I have a bunch of Switch boxes, including an HDMI Switch box, next to my Dreamcast right there. And just below that I have my cable receiver, my Genesis Model 2, and then under here, you can barely see it, but my TurboGrafx 16 is under there, and that is my Laserdisc player, and I've currently been watching Home Alone 2 yet again. Now in the two cupboards right here. Sorry about that. First one over here, I have all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards stored away in there. And in the other one, I have a whole bunch of extra controllers in there. But I also have a whole bunch of extra controllers in other places all around my room as well. Losing my breath here, talking a lot, moving around a lot. Next shelf over here, you see this in most of my videos, but it's kind of more obscured most of the time. I used to have a whole bunch of figures on top of there, but I took them all down because it was just getting too crowded. On top here, I have most of my collector's editions or special editions that I've gotten for a whole bunch of different games. But I also have the big box Super Mario Paint right there, or I should just say Mario Paint rather, for the Super Nintendo. On the shelf below that, I have my Dreamcast games, my North American Dreamcast games there, and my Japanese Dreamcast games as well. And I also have some PAL Dreamcast games back there, and a couple of late releases from other smaller companies as well. Followed by my 3DO games, my TurboGrafx games, my CDI games. They're all pretty much in there, back there, with a couple of items in front. Followed by my PS1 games, a couple of long box games as well. My Sega Saturn, Sega CD, and PSP games with a Nemesis figure right in front of them. And then my massive DS collection as well, with all of my North American, Japanese, and European games as well. Just below that is where I have my N64 collection. I have this drawer that has a bunch of games in there. I forget how many exactly it holds, but there's a decent amount in there. And then I have a couple more in this bin next to it. But I also have a bunch of other stuff randomly thrown in there. I still need to organize the stuff down there. And then below that I have 2 boxes full of random action figures and other toys that I've been meaning to get to for some time, but sort of just have to leave them in there for the time being. Now in that door, you barely ever see this door in my videos, but in this door is pretty much just a storage room / bathroom, so there's really no point to get into that right now. But moving on from there, we have my mirrored doors for my closet, and here you'll obviously be able to see me. Hey, so I'll just stand off to the side, and here you can get a better view of my room as a whole. Over here is where I have my Mac Mini set up with this Samsung monitor. I haven't been using it as much lately, but I usually just play Heroes of the Storm and do some web browsing on this computer, so I don't use it for all that much. Over here in my bed, I have a whole bunch of CDs stored there. Now this bed did not originally come with a CD rack in there. I actually found it, and it happened to just fit perfectly in the space there, so I just slotted it in, and that's where I've been keeping all my CDs. I used to have a bunch more, but there really wasn't any point in holding on to them. And then just on top of there is where I leave my Poppy for the time being, up until Remembrance Day, and then after that pretty much just goes in the trash. Next to my Recore poster, I have a couple of Salvador Dali prints, and I know they're really cliche to have, but I do like Dali, so of course I'm gonna have a couple up in my room, including a couple more over there. Now in the drawers below my Mac Mini, I have my NES collection and my Super Nintendo collection. Not a lot of games, but a decent amount of games nonetheless. And below that is where I have my boxed NES, N64, Super Nintendo games, and then all of my Genesis and Master System games as well. Now below that is where I have just a couple random things. I have some extra consoles, some random electronics, some demo discs, a couple of steelbooks as well, and just random old tablets and nonsense that I don't really use that much anymore. So they've just been relegated to that sort of random storage drawer. Now, going into my closet, there's a lot in here to see, so I'll try to be quick and brief about it. But pretty much what you get in my closet are a bunch of shelves with a bunch of stuff. Up here I have some art books and some other sort of guidebooks and stuff like that behind there. These shelves are really deep. There's a lot more back there, so kind of hard to pull it all out. Behind this box of Pokemon cards, I have a whole bunch of strategy guides and art books and other stuff like that. On the shelf beneath that, I have a whole bunch of more art books, and this is where my graphic novel collection starts to pop up, with a whole bunch more graphic novels, manga, whatever have you, all down there as well. It is about 4 stacks deep, so you can tell that that is a lot of manga in there, and it's all alphabetized. So it's kind of a bitch to organize when you get more added in. And then at the bottom is just a bunch of random boxes of stuff and a couple of notebooks and such. Now moving on to the other side. Here is where we see the majority of the mess. At the top there is a massive shelf. It goes all the way to the ceiling, so there's a lot more that you can't see. And all of it is packed full of console boxes, boxed like complete consoles, accessories that are still in box, and a bunch of other random brand new things that I've either kept in box or put back in the boxes. Kind of hard to see. I have some Transformers in there as well, and some more Transformers in that box back there. I usually keep my clothes here or in the other room over there. And then over here is where I said I have my comic book boxes. I have 4 boxes in total, with all of them being completely full. And I just have a couple random sweaters there, and the Agumon bag that I found in a thrift store, and a Build-A-Boar, sorry about that, a Build-A-Bear that my cousin gave to me as a birthday gift. So I still continue to hold on to that. I suppose one of the last few things I want to show you guys is that bin over there. Kind of hard to make it out from here, but that is where I have all of my Transformers, all of them that fit in there, and a couple more on top of it that I really don't have room otherwise to store them. But that's pretty much it. That's all that's in my room, and hopefully that was what you guys wanted to see. And hopefully it was entertaining to see as well. And that's about it. And that was it. That was my room tour. Hopefully that gave you some insight as to how I decide to organize my stuff, how I have everything laid out, and really get to see what kind of stuff I do have in my collection. And thank you very much for watching this video. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, just leave it in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, and website. They're all linked in the description below, and also linked in the description below is a link to my 500 subscribers contest. Check that out as well if you'd like. We're getting really close to 500 subscribers, and as soon as we get there, I'll be raffling off the prize. And that's it. See ya.